Have you become a perpetual product researcher? In this video, I'll show you how you can overcome your fears and finally commit to a product. But first, my name is Crescent, and if this is our first time meeting, welcome to my channel. My passion is sharing tips and strategies on how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, or especially if you've been around my channel, consider subscribing. All right, let's get started. We all know that product research is the most important part of selling private label products on Amazon. And in my experience helping students and the thousands of members of my Facebook group and discussion forum, which if you haven't already joined, why haven't you? There's tons of free, high-value content in there. There's links in the description. I've been noticing a common trend amongst beginners where I keep seeing the same person asking for an opinion on new products every other day and never seemingly to commit to a product even when I know I've told them that they've found a good product. Let me know in the comments if you're one of these people. I realize that it can be difficult to pull the trigger on a product because you want to be 100% sure, but understand that there's never going to be a time where you'll be 100% sure. In order to move forward, you have to be willing to take some risk. But the idea is to mitigate as much of that risk as possible and leave as little as possible to guesswork. Although it's difficult to do, the key is to leave your emotions out of the decision-making process. And you do that by letting the data make the decision for you. The more data you collect, the better the picture you can form around that product and its market. There are several data points that you want to collect data for during product research, which will help you make this decision. And although product research is time-consuming and frustrating just to find one product, as you collect more and more data on a product, most of the time it will get weeded out. So try to find more than one candidate so that hopefully you can narrow down your list to at least one viable product. Here are 5 major checkpoints that you need to follow so that if a product fails any one of these criteria, then pass on it. However, if the product passes all 5, then you can be confident in pulling the trigger and moving forward with the product. Now, the first major checkpoint that you want to verify is that the product you're looking at passes all of the product research criteria. For example, if we're looking at a vegetable chopper, you can use a tool from Jungle Scout called the Chrome extension, which will pull up all of the data that you need to analyze each market, such as the price point, the rank, the monthly sales revenue, and the number of reviews. Now, you want to make sure that a few of these key criteria are met. Primarily that the price is at least $15 or higher, and that the monthly sales volume is meeting your monthly sales target, and that the number of reviews is low enough so that the competition isn't too high. And so you want to make sure that at least 7 of the top 10 listings have less than 75 reviews. Now, if you want to learn more about the specifics of product research, I'll leave a link to a video over here. Additionally, you want to make sure that the market you're analyzing isn't brand dominated, meaning that there isn't one or more brands that are taking up most of the listings in the market. For example, you can see here Full Star dominates this market as they have 5 listings in this niche. And additionally, you want to make sure you don't see any major brands inside the market. So you can see that Cuisinart is in here as well. You also want to make sure that the product isn't seasonal, meaning that it only sells well during certain times of the year, such as Christmas or other holidays. And again, I have links in the description if you want to learn more about how to check for seasonality. And lastly, you want to make sure that the product isn't patented or trademarked, because if it is, you need a license to sell the product. Otherwise, you'll be infringing on someone's intellectual property and you can get sued. So you want to make sure you're never selling a product that's patented or trademarked. The second checkpoint that you want to make sure that your product is able to meet is your profit margin target. So what you can do is you go to Alibaba.com and search for the product that you're interested in making. For example, again, if we're looking at the vegetable chopper, look for the product and you can get a general idea of how much you can buy each unit for on Alibaba. Now, these are just estimates because you haven't actually got an actual quote from the supplier. So if you want to go the extra step, contact a bunch of suppliers and get actual quotes so you can nail down the specific profit margin. And it's super important that you know this number. I also have a video that talks specifically about how to calculate profits and fees, and I'll leave a link to it over here. The next major checkpoint that you want to make sure is the monthly sales velocity, because the tools that you're using to analyze the niches are just estimates. So you want to go the extra step and do proper product tracking. And you want to use product tracking tools such as the one available from Jungle Scout. And as you can see here, I've added a few vegetable choppers to the product tracker, which will give me additional information such as how many units are being sold per day. Now, the most accurate way is actually to use the 999 cart method, which uses real sales numbers from Amazon, which I'll leave a link to over here if you want to know how to do the 999 cart method. The next checkpoint is your budget. You need to know how much starting capital you have, because once you do, that'll determine how many units or how big of an order you're able to make initially. Now, once you've done your product tracking and analysis of the niche, you need to determine how many units that you need to order on your initial order, and can you afford it or not. If not, you'll need to figure out a way to put together some more capital. And lastly, number 5, once you've analyzed your niche and run all the numbers, and if it looks good, you want to get a second opinion. So contact your coach or your mentor and have them look over everything that you've done to verify that you've done it correctly and to confirm or deny that this product is actually a viable one that you should move forward on. One thing I want to point out is to never fall in love with a product. I've seen this happen more often than not. Regardless of how much time you've spent researching a product, if in the end the data is telling you that the product is bad, then toss it aside and move on. Don't get emotionally attached to it and try to convince yourself that it's a good product by ignoring the data. That's why it's important to find a few potential products so you can narrow the list down. So the point of this video is that once you've found a product that meets all of the checkpoints, commit to it. The bottom line here is that if you do your due diligence collecting and analyzing the data, then there's nothing further that you can do that will affect your analysis. So pull the trigger. If you want to learn how to swim, you can't just keep dipping your foot in the water. You have to jump in eventually. Don't end up a perpetual product researcher. Let me know in the comments if you found yourself stuck in this endless cycle, and if you used to be, what you did to finally pull the trigger on a product. All right? Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And to make sure you never miss a video, click that bell icon to turn on notifications. There's also a link in the description to our community forums, which you should totally join. And if you're looking for more tips and strategy videos, click or tap over here. And as always, thanks for watching.